Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Exit Strategies Radio Show. I am your host, Corwyn J. Millett, broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group in beautiful North Charleston, South Carolina. If this is your first time listening to this show, you, sir or ma'am, are in for a treat because our mission here is very simple. That is to empower our community through financial literacy and real estate education. We're legacy building. That is what we do. So if you're out there making things happen with your family for the generations yet to come, our word teaches us to leave a legacy, to leave an inheritance for our children, and so forth and so on. We want you to put a hashtag on that thing that says that you are legacy building, because that is what you are doing. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Anchor FM. You can also find us on Instagram at our website, exitstrategiesradioshow.com. You can catch us in a number of different places on your favorite podcast applications. We appreciate you listening. Please share this content with your friends, your family, your coworkers, even those in your groups, your church groups, etc., guys, because sometimes the message and the word that we are speaking here today is for you. Sometimes it is for someone else that you know. Again, we appreciate you listening. Let's get started. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Exit Strategies Radio Show. I am your host. Yep, that is who I am, and you know it. I am Corwyn J. Millett, broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group, guys. So, look, we are in for an interesting show. So I am, guys, as we have this conversation on air, I am actually in San Diego, California. Now, some of you are asking, well, Corwyn, it might be a little early where you are. And that is absolutely, positively correct. But we are committed to bringing you this conversation, to bringing you this dialogue, and most importantly, to bringing you this information to help educate you and to empower you, our consumer, our friend. All right? So, guys, look, I am actually this weekend attending the NAR, National Association of REALTORS annual conference. Now, guys, this is one of the biggest real estate events that is held by our group. And in turn, it is a dynamic opportunity to network, to hustle and bustle, rub elbows, and meet a lot of industry leaders. We have our top brokers here. We have our top agents here. We, in turn, guys, are here to, if you will, handle and distribute information, handle the business that is real estate. That is what we do here. And guys, I'm super duper excited. This is a long time coming. Guys, you know that over the last couple of years, it has been a little different, is what I will say. It has been a little different dealing with and working through our new quote unquote reality. This is one of the first conferences that's going to be held or being held in person. We're anticipating over 10,000 people that are going to be in attendance. So we're super duper excited, again, to be a part of this conference. This is a conference that I attend annually, and I've been doing so for a number of years. And it is very instrumental to me in the success that we have had. It is a driver, if you will, for our business. It is most importantly a driver for how we assist our clients and how we deal with the ever-changing real estate landscape for you, again, our consumer. So thank you so much for tuning in. So I got to give a quick shout out and thank you to Ms. Peters and to Ms. Bates from the city of Charleston, who were with us for the past couple of episodes. And guys, that was dynamic information. If you missed it, please make sure that you go to our website, exitstrategiesradioshow.com. Again, exitstrategiesradioshow.com. Please make sure you take a listen to those episodes. Also, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page, guys. On YouTube, we're Exit Strategies there as well. Please make sure that you subscribe so that as new episodes are loaded there, you can get those channels. And guys, we are mixing in some of our recorded video shows as well so that we can get that information to you in a different format. but get you, most importantly, the same information and consistency going forward. So again, we're super, super, super duper excited about that. So there's a number of things that's going to go on this week at this conference. And we don't want to quote unquote overshadow it, but we also want to make sure that you are, as a consumer, aware that real estate agents, guys, the ones who are good at what they do, they train. That's how we get better. That's how we are better. And that's in turn how we're able to serve you differently because we have been exposed to and are part of things such as this conference here. Many people that know me know I attend a lot of training classes. I go to a fair amount of conferences, and there's different conferences that are held in different places. I do a lot as it relates to our real estate association, a realtor association, for a very particular reason, and that is because, guys, we're involved in the decision making process. Real estate is a very instrumental part of our economy. And in turn, we want to make sure that we, as real estate professionals, one, most importantly, that we understand that. Number two, that we work to create an environment where you, as a consumer, can continue to win. We're one of, if not the only country in the world, guys, that has a real estate market like we do, where you're able to own real property, where you're able to sell it, mortgage it, and do all this other stuff. Because there's some places where you can't mortgage it. You got to pay for it, whatever it is, if you do own. And there's some places that you don't own the property, if you will. So we want to make sure that we are continuing to work to create, foster, and, if you will, nurture an environment that continues to be able to serve our community. There's something empowering about home ownership for those of you who are already over that hurdle and already quote unquote own your home. There's something empowering about that. It begins to put you in a place, it gives you a mindset also of stability. You are stable because now you don't have to worry about, or you're not as concerned about, fluctuations in rental pricing and all these things. So we want to make sure that we're, again, continuing to be a part of that conversation to encourage it. Most importantly, we also want to make sure that we are working to protect consumers. You guys witnessing a lot of changes in quote unquote the real estate space. As a professional, we are definitely doing the same thing. We are watching a landscape that has become far different than what it was a number of years ago. And some people say that it's for the best, and that's opinion. However, there's some people that look and say, wait a minute, this is really not how this should be going. We're seeing home prices run away in some places and in some instances, and many people are having that conversation. I've actually just had that conversation with a Lyft driver here in San Diego, who's saying and stating about the inability to be able to purchase. He loves the city, loves this area. Moved here 30 some odd years ago from the New York, New Jersey area. In turn, he loves the area. However, he is challenged in the current climate, in the current market, to be able to afford home ownership. And, that was a conversation that we were having on yesterday, on last evening. And, obviously wanted to encourage him, but, there's programs that can help people with home ownership. I've seen it in large cities such as San Francisco. I've seen it in large cities such as New York. I've seen it in other places. And we just had the conversation over the past episode about opportunities that exist within the Charleston area as well. And there's a ton of other resources that are available. So I want to take a quick moment here as a segue because many of you are feeling just like the gentleman that I spoke to on yesterday evening, that you're challenged, that you don't know how to make homeownership happen, that the down payment is more of a burden to you than it is to some others. And we want to encourage you in that. We want to give you resources and places where you can find assistance. All right. Maybe you're looking to move somewhere else in South Carolina, or maybe you're looking in another state altogether. There are lots of opportunities and lots of things that are available to assist you in making homeownership a reality for you and your family. And, just because you are looking for seeking assistance does not necessarily mean that you are in a situation where you should feel that you're not able to do it or be down on yourself, because we see that a fair amount. We see where people, quote unquote, will internalize that and say, okay, well, look, I can't do this, or, I'm struggling, quote unquote, to do that. And in turn, they want to beat themselves up. And that's not what this is for. There's a difference in needing help up versus a handout. And we want to encourage you to look for the help up. Homeownership is a dynamic in our economy, is a instrumental piece of wealth. The statistics are everywhere. Right now, we're obviously, as we're all having conversations about the disparities in wealth between one group and another, we oftentimes don't look at the disparity between the group of homeowners versus the group of renters. We're so focused currently on looking at it by demographic, by race, by origin, or what have you, all these other things, but we're not looking at the fundamentals, which is ownership versus possession. Ownership has its own bundle of rights, but ownership creates wealth, where renting is mere possession, and possession alone does not create wealth. And we want to help you all, our listeners, to build, to grow, most importantly, to establish yourself so that you can benefit from wealth creation. So you can foresee creation of wealth for you, for your family. We talk about our legacy, so on and so forth. So we want to encourage you in that. We want to encourage you in that because we understand that there is a lot that goes into making a decision to purchase a home. There is a lot of commitment that goes to that, right? And we want to help you understand that. So I was making mention before we kind of got into this about commitment, where you can find resources that are available to you within the state of South Carolina. So if you need down payment assistance, if you know somebody in the state of South Carolina, or you're looking to purchase in South Carolina and need help with down payment assistance, you need help, you can go to nodownpaymentsc.com. That's no down payment and SC for South Carolina.com. And you can find access information on various programs specific to the location that you might be interested in. Maybe you saw a house in Columbia, maybe you saw a house in Greenville, maybe you saw a house in Myrtle Beach or somewhere, then you want more information about programs that may help you purchase that home. You can plug in the address and get a list of all the programs that are available to assist you with that particular purchase. So utilize it. It's a resource that we made available to you, our listeners, to our consumers, guys, in order to empower you, to give you an opportunity where you otherwise may not have had one. So guys, look, as we always are saying, it is quick. We come up on our break so fast. But guys, you're listening to Exit Strategies Radio Show, and we want you to hold tight because we'll be right back.
For real estate agents, there's not much financial security. When the only income streams are taking listings and making sales, agents tend to live paycheck to paycheck, spending their commission in advance and rarely saving for the future. You're only as good as your last transaction, and when you stop selling, your income stops flowing. But all over the US and Canada, real estate professionals have discovered an additional revenue stream that fills in the gaps between closings and gives them a financial future that has never existed in real estate before. This new revenue stream is called sponsoring, and it's made possible by Exit Realty. Through sponsoring, agents earn residual income by introducing other agents to the Exit system. It's not a multi-level scheme. It's a proven single-level system that works a lot like it does in the music and insurance industries. You do the work once and get paid over and over again. For example, Mary is an agent with Exit Realty, and John is an agent with another brokerage. Mary thinks that John would enjoy working at Exit Realty too, so she introduces him to her broker, and he is hired. At Exit Realty, he will immediately start on a 70-30 commission split. That's 70% to him. As a reward, Mary will instantly receive a residual bonus paid by Exit Realty Corp International every time John closes a deal as an Exit Realty agent. Mary's bonus is the equivalent of 10% of John's gross commissions, and Mary's bonus doesn't affect John at all because it isn't paid from his 70%. So if John is producing $50,000 a year, that's a realistic annual income. That's an additional $5,000 every year in Mary's pocket. That $5,000 quickly grows to a much higher number when you start multiplying it. If Mary sponsored, say, 10 people into Exit, all producing $50,000 a year, that's an extra $50,000 a year on top of her own commissions. Now imagine Mary's bank balance if John earned $75,000 or $100,000 a year. It sure adds up. By the way, when John's commission hits $100,000, his commission increases from 70% to 90%. The money is flowing everywhere. The great thing about sponsoring with Exit Realty is that when Mary decides to retire or take a break from real estate, her 10% residuals automatically turn into 7% retirement benefits. Finally, a real estate company that cares about your retirement. For as long as the agents that Mary sponsored continue working at Exit Realty and are closing deals, Mary will continue receiving the equivalent of 7% of their gross commissions. Plus, when you join Exit Realty, you designate someone special as your beneficiary, and should anything happen to you, all of your sponsoring residuals instantly turn into the equivalent of 5% beneficiary benefits, so your loved ones are taken care of. Exit Realty agents get a piece of the action from the 10% sponsoring residuals and true peace of mind from the 7% retirement benefits and 5% beneficiary benefits. So just imagine, if you sponsored 10 people into Exit Realty, each earning $100,000 a year, that's $1 million in your bank account in 10 years. Could you do anything with that? What are the chances of you having $1 million in your bank account doing what you're presently doing? And with Exit, you can be confident knowing that you're backed by a top award-winning brand with world-class training and digital marketing tools. A company that's dedicated to helping you and the agents you sponsor achieve success. Exit Realty is the formula that works. You owe it to yourself and your family to take a closer look.
And guys, we're on to the second segment, Exit Strategies Radio Show. I'm your host. I'm Corwyn J. Millett, broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group. And guys, thank you so much for joining us today. As I said in our opening, guys, we are very fortunate, very excited to be off in California. Yep, that's what we're doing. Look here, there's a hip hop song about California. So look here, I look here, California. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Because we out here in San Diego this weekend, guys, and we're doing something profound. We are participating. We're here with the National Association of REALTORS. We're here for the annual conference, Rise and Shine. That is what we are doing. And guys, look, it is early where I am, but most importantly, we are committed. I remembered I had to reflect to myself here a little while ago this morning about something I heard, and I believe it was a conversation when I was listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show one morning on my drive, and he was talking about those people of means of wealth that live on the West Coast. They typically get up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And the reason was very pointed. That's because financial markets, everything on East Coast opens up at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And in turn, if you're on the West Coast and you don't get up until 8, 9 o'clock on West Coast time, then what's happening is this. All right. What's happening is this. What's happening is by the time you get up, people have already begun making decisions, financial decisions on things that will impact you. So you should be up that time of morning to make sure. And it dawned on me this morning because obviously with the transition, to be very frank and direct about it, guys, I was up early. I was up technically the time I normally get up East Coast, even though I'm on West Coast. So the hours were completely off. And in turn, I'm looking and saying, okay, you know what? That's why, because I need to go ahead and get to work this morning. And that's what we're doing. So I'm super duper excited, guys, for the Rise and Shine conference. Quote unquote, COVID has kept a lot of meetings from taking place. A lot of people that I typically have seen, will see, or would have seen or been with, I haven't. So the opportunity to gather, to network, to have conversations about what's going on in the current real estate climate, but also to have conversations about how we can improve our industry and to better serve our consumers. That's what we're committed to doing. So again, thank you all for being patient as we kind of deal with that. Because again, we're super, super, super excited to be able to be a part of this conference, to be in attendance. There's going to be over 10,000 people at this conference. Typically, we have about 30, 20, 30, 40, depending upon speakers and all that stuff. We're going to have Drew Brees is going to be here and is going to do a session. Simone Biles is going to be here. Super excited to hear their encouragement, the things they did to overcome and to be the best that they are, the best that they can be, and be the people that they are. So, and that is what we all need to plug in and should and could plug in to be a part of something, to be a better version of ourselves. And I'm always hesitant, or gotten to a place now where I'm hesitant to speak about being the best, because the best, quote unquote, doesn't have room to improve. We always want to get better. So I want to encourage you all in that, again, to be better, to be better. So let's take a segue back, if you will, for those listeners who missed, again, the last few episodes. We've had Ms. Bates, Ms. Peters from the city of Charleston, who joined us and spoke about the programs that are available. And, we have received inquiries and calls and follow up in regard to that. So we want to give you guys the opportunity to ask more questions and let us know how we can better serve and help you. We want you to go to our website, exitstrategiesradioshow.com, and go there and contact us and give us some feedback on the show. Let us know what information is helpful to you. Is it, you want to know more about specifically the real estate market? Do you want to know more about financial literacy? Because we're working to bring in some people to give you more direct information and access to programs that are available to help you with your home purchase. But we also are working to bring in our partners to really delve a little bit deeper and give you a little bit more insight into managing your expenses, budgeting, and that's the B word, guys, but budgeting and handling your affairs and how to improve your credit, how to make things happen in your own personal world that would then light your path in order for you to build and establish your legacy. So we want your feedback. We're looking at bringing in our home inspectors, our attorneys, because we have a lot of things and a lot of conversations about things that are going on related to heirs and things of that nature. So we want to get through to some of our listeners the information that they're really in need of. We see a lot, and here's especially lately, a lot of situations regarding families and probate. Even in my own personal world, I see a lot of that directly and as well as indirectly around me where, family members are passing on and there is a business, if you will, in death. There is business that has to be taken care of. We're quick to go to the funeral home and pick out the most elaborate casket and the most elaborate service. And that is our way of honoring the person who went on. But we're oftentimes failing in the business that goes after that. And a question that you may want to pose or may pose to yourself is that what you want to do? We put on the ceremony, if you will, and sometimes there's a lot of fanfare in the ceremony. Then on the other side, after that, nothing else takes place. And sometimes we find ourselves having not handled the property. And in turn, sometimes I've seen properties lost, I've seen properties destroyed or otherwise vandalized. And because no one took care of them, after the funeral was over, everybody just kind of turned and went their own way. Or after the money was spent, everybody just kind of turned and went their own way. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to see that continue within our community. We don't want to see that continue to happen when there is wealth that was established. Your family member or whoever it was, they established wealth. They bought a home. They had home ownership as one of their mantras, something that they wanted to accomplish, and they did that. And in turn, we do not have the death conversation as well or as often in our community as we could and should. We don't specify. We act solely on emotion instead of applying the logic necessary to have the better and best outcome. And that is something consistently that we see. That is something consistently that we know transpires or happens. And what we want to do is do something different. We want to see a completely different outcome. In order for us to see a completely different outcome, we have to have developed a different mindset. We cannot do the same old things and expect to be in a new place. We must do something different in order to have a different destination. You can't take the same path to work and expect to get, to be blunt, if everyone takes the same path to work every day, we cannot expect to get there any earlier or necessarily any later than what we normally would if we did everything the same and if everyone did. However, if we do something different, take a different route, or we leave earlier, or we do something else along the way that cuts time off of the amount of time that it's taken us to get to this destination, that is how we quote unquote change the narrative. That is how we impact it. And we want to encourage you in that because we understand and know that that is how we make a difference, how we have an impact, and how we change our market. So many of us are struggling with home prices, and we are failing to realize that this is something that is fairly consistent across the board. So I want to encourage you. I have this conversation with our agents as well because they are struggling as well. The reason they're struggling is because as agents, we're seeking to help consumers and we want to help everyone. So when we can't help someone because the price point of the home that they're most interested in or where they want to be is outside of their range of affordability, then we're challenged. And then it becomes, well, what can we change? Where can we go different? What else can we do to try to help this particular consumer get to what it is they're trying to get to, which is home ownership? So we want you, one, to be encouraged, but we also want you also to encourage your agent because your agent is struggling trying to help you. I see this a lot. And it's painful because, again, as an agent, when you sign on to help someone, you're committed to doing so. And it is not necessarily the easiest thing to get accomplished. We are, again, struggling with buyers who, unfortunately, current home prices, just don't match. And there's some that do. And we want to help everyone. So again, that kind of gives us a little bit of additional challenge. So keep that in mind as you guys are working through and working with the agent or your agent. Trustfully is one of ours. You always can reach us, guys, 843-619-3005. Again, 843-619-3005. You always can reach us, guys, to get more information about home ownership, how to make it happen in this market, how to navigate this market. That is the reason. And, we won't go deep into it on today's show, but we've learned, it has been realized, I believe, over the last several days, if you've seen some of the major portals and just some of the shifts and things they've done, a real estate agent is important. They're a guide and they're boots on the ground. They beat a computer algorithm any day of the week. And we want to make sure that you guys are getting the best representation. We get the conversation, my house is worth this. But the reality is that that number is usually wrong. Most people won't tell you that, but that number is usually wrong. There is a degree of margin of error. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Thank you for your patience. I'm super excited as we line up our guests for our next week. As I always say to you guys, one, y'all keep us in prayer in these flights and these travels. Going to bring some powerful information to you on next week, and we want you to stay tuned for that. But guys, you're listening to Exit Strategies Radio Show. And as I always tell you, I love you. You know I love you. I love you. And I'll see you guys out there in the streets. Guys, that was a great show today. And we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Exit Strategies Radio Show. My name is Corwyn J. Millett. Yes, that is me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in for today's episode. Exit Strategies is my baby. It is how I give back to our community. It is how I foster goodwill, spread good news, and trustfully help you get great results. Guys, as I always say to you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And we're going to see you guys out there in the streets.